Hey guys, so this is going to be the video explaining the first time that I did shrooms. Now, this video isn't going to be scripted, I'm just going to be going off of my memory here. So, started off, we were hanging out after work one time, me and my best friend, with a few of our co-workers, and we had to be back at my house by about 12 o'clock, right? And there's this kid at my school who he did psychedelics a lot, and so I traded him something for some psychedelics. Also, shrooms. I traded him something for shrooms, and so I had about a G and a half of shrooms, right? So I think that would be a pretty good dosage for a first-time user. So basically, me and my best friend got back to my house, and I didn't have any like good food to put the shrooms on, because like I'd eaten all of it already, and I had forgotten to go and get like a burger or something to put it on, because that's what I was planning to do. I was planning to go to like Publix and get a sandwich, or go to McDonald's and get like a Big Mac or something like that. Just put the shrooms on to make them taste better, because if you guys don't know, shrooms taste like ass the first time. Or not even the first time. Shrooms just taste like ass in general, right? So I found a tortilla, just a tortilla, and a bagel. So I put half of them on the tortilla, and I put the other half on the bagel. And so we were sitting in my room, like watching some music videos on my TV, and I was already done with the tortilla, like I'd eaten all of the tortilla, and I was about halfway through the bagel, and my dad walked in, right? And my dad is not okay with drugs or vaping or anything like that. So I hid the bagel behind my nightstand. And it was about, I'd say he was in here for about 10 minutes talking to us. About 5 minutes in, I started feeling the shrooms, right? And so he left, and then I finished eating the bagel, and then I sat down on my bed, because I could feel the trip coming, and my friend was sitting next to me, and let's call him James. All right, this is my best friend. He's gonna be in a lot of my videos. Okay, his name's James. So James is talking to me, and he starts giving me like these kind of like riddles. They're like brain fucks, basically. Like one of them was like, if God can do everything, then God can make a rock that not even he can move. But if he can do everything, then he can move the rock that not even he can move. Right? But like stuff like that is what he was telling me. And it was like, as he was telling me that stuff, I started tripping fucking balls. I remember I heard a dog bark, and then I felt like I got hit by a truck. And then I asked James, and he said, no, there was no dog barking. Like no, I think you're just hearing stuff. I was like, yeah, I probably was. But yeah, so he laid out a couple of rules for me, because he was trip sitting me, and he said the number one rule: I go everywhere with you, and you do not look in the mirror. Right? That was the one thing that he told me not to do, was look in the mirror. So guess what I did? I looked in the mirror, right? I told him I had to go to the bathroom, so he walked into the bathroom with me just to make sure that I was gonna be okay. And he was like, whatever you do, do not look in the mirror. And I was like, I'm gonna look in the mirror. He was like, no. And I was like, yes. And so of course I looked in the mirror, and it was like my whole body was like God, it was like wavy almost, right? And so I stood in the bathroom for like 15 minutes looking at the mirror. Before he even left, I was looking at the mirror, right? Or sorry, I was looking at the mirror until he left, because he eventually got fed up with it, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go sit back down on your bed, like yeah, I'm not dealing with this. And so about 5 minutes after he left, I was still looking in the mirror, and I looked down at my shoulder, and I see a neon rainbow outline of him leaning like on my shoulder with his arm kind of like on my shoulder, if that makes sense. And I as soon as I looked down at what I knew it wasn't him, but like still, I looked down at him, and he he looked up at me, waved at me, and then walked out the door. Like through the door. The door wasn't even open. He just walked through the door. That was probably the craziest visual I had the whole trip, because that was probably during like the strongest part of the trip for me. But then we came in. We came. I came, or sorry, we didn't. I came back into the room, and my friend had this show pulled up, and he said that you're supposed to watch this show while you're tripping, and it's supposed to like change your fucking life. I was like, okay, bet, I'm down. And it got to a point in the show where one of the main characters had been like thrown into a different kind of like dimension, if that makes sense. And he, like, nobody in this dimension had like any technology or anything like that. And so he pulled out a phone, and he was like, see this device? It can trap time for all of eternity. And then he took a picture. And then I was like, oh shit, right? Pictures enclose like a moment in time, right? Right? Like pictures enclose a moment in time. And time is like if you're having a good time, like it's the people you're with, it's what you're doing, it's the emotions that you're feeling. And a picture traps all of that. A picture, like you look at a picture of you and your friends, and you're you kind of like feel those emotions, right? Like you kind of like you reminisce that time, right? And so I was like tripping balls to that. And then we started watching Juice WRLD music videos, which if you've ever watched them while like high or tripping or anything, it's pretty fucking crazy. Especially Black and White and Lean With Me. Those videos are just insane if you're intoxicated at all. And so we watched those for a while, and then we kind of just chilled out. We were one of our friends, let's call him John and Mark. So John and Mark FaceTimed us because James had told John and Mark that I was tripping, and so they were like, yo, like, where'd you get the shrooms? Like, give me your plug, right? Like, it was like 4 a.m., right, whenever they called us, and they were like, we need something to get intoxicated, and I was like, shut the fuck up, you're both retarded, and I hung up the phone. And they were like, bruh, like, we just wanted some shrooms. I'm like, no, nobody's gonna serve you shrooms at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? So then we just chilled out for a little bit more. We talked for a little bit. He told me, we had a few like deep conversations, because at this point I was coming down. I had taken the shrooms at about 12:30, midnight basically. And so it was like 4 or 5 a.m. and we were just chilling, right? We were just talking. But we had to go somewhere the next morning, so we both tried to kind of get some sleep. And I remember I laid down and I closed my eyes, and I was in a room, like I didn't think I was there, but it was like I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. I closed my eyes, but it felt like my eyes were open, if that makes sense. Like I knew they were closed, but it was like at the back of my eyelids, they were like, it was like a TV screen almost, if that makes sense. So like I was watching, like it looked like I was in like a room full of people, and I kept looking at all their faces, because that's one thing off shrooms. Like faces are like, you see faces everywhere. Like different patterns will look like faces to you. The wall may have like a scratch on it or something like that, and it'll look like a face to you. Or like I don't know, like the design on a mattress. Like it looked like a bunch of faces, if that makes sense. and I was looking at all these people, and I looked at each individual person in the room, and it was a face of like somebody that I knew. Even though like the rest of their body didn't look like that person, like their face was. I remember there was this one person who was walking across the room whose head was slowly like turning, like on a swivel, right? But their face was changing. It was like, at first it was like a clown, then it was like the face of Deadpool, then it was like a minion from Despicable Me. Like it was crazy. And then I watched some YouTube, and I finally went to sleep. But yeah, that's pretty much the story of the first time I did shrooms. I would highly, I can't fucking talk. I would highly recommend it to people. Right? Shrooms are fun. Don't do them excessively. Right? I'm not condoning any drug use at all in this video. But if you're looking for something that isn't like bad for you, or something that isn't addictive, I would say shrooms are the way to go. But with that being said, be sure to like and subscribe. You all have a great day, guys.